named memory location, right? Or a container which hold the value, right? Suppose in C or C++ int x is the variable value which is changing, right? So here we need to talk about Java variables, right? So now we need to talk about the Java variables. Basically, these Java variables are two types based on their nature. So the first one is a primitive variable or reference variable, right? So primitive variable. Second type is a reference variable. So what are the primitive? Primitive or primary or basic? Primary or basic. Same, right? So primitive variables. So second one is the reference variable, right? So I will show one diagram here. Children, are you able to see my PPT? Yes, please. Types of variables.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here there are two types of variable. So based on the type of value represented by the variable, right? So here the value, based on the value represented by the variables can be primitive data type or a reference, right? A reference to a particular memory location. A reference to a particular memory locations. Based on the behavior and position of the declaration, the variable can be further divided into instance variable, static variable, local variable, right? So that means, so a primitive, here a primitive can be divided into instance variable, static variable, and local variables. So now here a primitive, so what are the different types of primitive? A static, first instance variable. So second one is a static, right? So third one is a method local variable. Third one is local variables. Right? So instance variable, static variable, and local variables. So these primitive types can be further divided into this primitive variables can be further divided into static, instance, and local variables. Right? Suppose, so what is here? There is some other terminology: instance or object. Instance or an object level variable, right? So this static variable is also said to be a class level variable. So this is also said to be a class level variable, right? So this local variables, a variable which is defined within the method, right? So method body, yes. So a variable which is defined in the method, then it is said to be a local variable, right? Suppose if you take some instance, Excel, right? So here my dark class, assume that this is my dark class. In this dark class, here this is my dark class. I am representing it is in the form of arity, right? So now here what are the properties of this dog? So weight, comma, height. These are the properties. So what are the functionalities? So here the functionality of this one is eat method, right? So run method. Next one is, so however I return the main method here only in main method, right? So here these are the different methods. Children, are you able to see my Excel sheet? Children, Excel sheet కనబడుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now here this is weight, height. These are the variables. Methods: eating, running, main method, right? Delete. So next. So here I am taking some dog. Dog is the class. Here the properties of this dog is weight, height. These are the variables. So these are the methods. So now the point is, so now the point is, Here we can take this. Right. So dog is the class. So these are the weight, height is the variable. These are the methods. Yes. So now what I am doing, so I want to tell this is, what is this? This is the abstraction, right? Abstraction is always deals with the design level process. Yes, this is my ADT for my dark class. This is ADT for my dark class. So here abstraction deals with only a design level process. Suppose if I want to implement it's equivalent code, right? I want to write its equivalent code. Then what? How can I write it? So I can write like this. So int weight comma height. These are the variables. Next eat method, void eat method. This is my method. In this I written the SOP statement is system.out.println. So dog eat 1 kg, right? So next is here I'm taking this main method, public static main method, public static void main string args array, right? So this is my main method. In this main method, so what I am doing here, so I am not writing any code here. Next, all this entire, yes, all this I am entire, this entire I written in within brackets. I grouped into, I wrapped into brackets. So this is named with class dog, right? So all these property variables and method I wrapped into a open brace and closed brace, then it is said to be a class, right? Here in this case, so we are discussing about the variables. So this int weight comma height, these variables, which type of variables these are? These are which type of variables, children? Yes, please speak out. Children, are you there?
Static.
Weight comma height. These variables are instance variable. These variables are instance variables, right? Suppose here some, if I am taking some int some x, right? X is equal to some 10, right? So this x is a local variable, method local variable, method local variable, right? Variable. Here control A copy, control C copy, control A select on, control C. Why new Java control, right? So here children, please look into here. So what are the different types of variables? So I'm taking primitive basic data, primitive variables, primary variables. So class dog weight height. What are these? Instance variable. This instance level variable is also said to be object level variable. So here this is eat is the method. In this eat method, so I'm declaring some variable. This variable becomes to method local variable, right? So here method local variables, right? So next here in this case int number of legs, so number of legs is equal to 4. Each and every dog, almost all the 99%, 100% dogs have each and every dog has only 4 legs. So I want to make this is the common for each and every object, right? So here I want to make this is a common for each and every object. For that purpose, I am declaring as static int or int static, right? So you can declare it as static, right? So static int. So once you declaring a variable as the static, so there is only one instance that variable is created and shared by all the objects of the same class. Children, yes. So children, are you there? Is it audible? Yes, please. Arya.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now the point is here you can take my edit plus screen. So here I'm using these 3 different types of variables. So first one is here number of legs. Each and every dog has only 4 legs. This is the common property, right? So this is the common property for each and every dog. right? So this is common for each and every dog. So weight is some kg, some dog may be 5 kgs, some dog may be 6 kgs. So weight is different, height is different, but number of legs, this is the common property. So I'm declaring this as the static variable. So next I'm declaring a variable within the method, then it is said to be method local variable, right? So method local variable, right? So now what I am doing here, so I want to once I declare these variables, then here paint, right? So whenever you are creating these variables, yes, right? So whenever you are creating these variables, so here number of legs, so here I'm creating some objects like dog class, dog space, some d1 is equal to new dog. Yes, so I'm instantiating for this dog class. Yes, I'm creating object for this dog class. So next I'm writing this SOP statement, right? So I'm writing this SOP statement here, system dot out dot println. So here, which I want to display, yes, I want to display something plus d1 dot, yes, here, what are the variables here? So this weight height, these variables, int weight height. So these variables values I want to display. So in this case, you can take weight is some 5, height is some 6, right? Suppose if I am calling d1 dot weight, is it works? Yes, children, d1 dot weight ni call chesanu. So what is this weight? Weight is instance variable. Instance means object level variable. So by using this object, I am invoking this in instance variable. Is it works? Children, are you able to see my edit plus? Yes, please speak out.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now we can observe what is the output of this one. Weight is 6, height is some 6, weight is 5. So now I want to save this. So how can we save? By using this class name. So file, save as, file, save, lab123 folder. Class name is dog, right? Yes. So here I want to move that home directory cmd command prompt, cd desktop, cdit3 folder. So cd lab dir, here which one we are using, lab 123, lab 123, cd space lab 123, right? So this is right, these programs belongs to 3 batches, so I put it, this is the common cd space lab 123, right? So now here I want to check what are the classes. Yes, dog.java class is there, dog.java. So I am compiling this java, see, dog.java, right? So next running this dog java space dog. So here what is this, the weight of particular dog is, yes, so the weight of d1, weight of d1 is equal to this one, right? So next here dog d1, okay now. So now I want to print the height of this dog. Control C copy, tab control V. So here height, I want to print the height of this dog, ht height. So height of this dog is height of d1, control S. So file, save. Once you make modification, save it. Once you save, then you compile once again java C. Then you run your program. So weight of this one is this, height of this one is this. Suppose here, what are these? These are the instance level variables. So these are the instance level variables. So whenever we are discussing about the constructors, we will get more depth about this one. Suppose if I'm creating second object, right? So dog space d2 is equal to new dog, right? So here I'm creating second object. So by using this second object, I'm printing the values of these. Control V. So here d2 dot weight, here d2 dot height. Suppose here I want to use this constructor to initialize my values, right? Not these similar values. You can directly assign the values, as well as by using the constructor concept you can assign the values, right? So my intention is dog default constructor. Here the weight is equal to, so we can give some values here. So dog x int y, weight is equal to x, height is equal to some y. We are giving some values. Yes, by using this constructor I'm initializing these values. So whenever you are creating object of this class, then you can pass these values. Here some values are 11 comma 22, right? So now what is the point? Here I'm using this constructor in order to initialize your values, right? So now you can observe this point. So whenever you are printing the values of these different objects, the values may be varying, right? So here first object value 5 comma 6. So second object values are 11 comma 22. These values are different. So for instance variable the values may be different, right? So for instance variable the values may be different. But the static here, suppose if you want to print this static, right? So next statement is this one, Control C copy, right? So here Control V, the static variable is common for this variable. So now number of legs of d1 is, so d1 dot n legs, number of legs. So now here number of legs for d2, number of legs for d2, d2 dot number of legs. So once you save this program, yes, once you save this program, then again you need to compile this program, then you need to run this. Here these instance variables are different, but the static variables are the common, right? So the instance variables are the different, is static variables are the common. So right, so now we can represent it is in the form of a diagram. So where is my paint? Here this is, right? So here weight, height, yes. So weight, you can take weight parameter, right? So next one is height parameter, right? So this is height parameter, weight, height, right? So each one, weight and height. So weight, height. So these are the integer 4 bytes. Yes. So this 4 bytes is given for this integer. So height is also, it will occupy this 4 bytes of memory, right? So for which one it is relevant to, it is relevant to d1 object, right? It is relevant to d1 object, d1. So next, a separate memory is allocated for d2 object for these variables weight and height. For d2 variable, a separate memory is created for this variable weight, height. Weight, next height, weight, height. For these two variables, yes, a 4 bytes of memory is allocated, right? So this 4 bytes of memory is allocated for these objects. Suppose if you are creating 100 objects, 100 separate memory created, 100 separate memory locations are created, right? Suppose here what is my number of legs? Number of legs is common. So here the static field, static variables are created only once and shared by all the objects of this same class. Number of legs here, right? So this field, so the field is 4. This is 4. This is the common for, so d1 object as well as d2 object. Even though if there are n number of objects, for all these number of objects, this field is common, right? So this is said to be a static variable, right? So now what we are discussing, yes, we are discussing local variables, instance variable, as well as as well as static. Children, are you there? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Soumya Devineni. Yes. So now we are talking about the variables. So basically the variables are here based on type of value represented by a variable. It is primitive or reference. Right. So I'm talking about only primitive type. Then I will talk later about reference. So based on the behavior and position of the declaration, the variable may be instance variable, instance or object. So static variable is also said to be a class level variable. So a local variable means a variable which is defined within the method. Right. So now, so here, suppose if you are declaring a variable primitive, int x is equal to 10. So this is the example for a primitive. So what is a reference variable? Some student s is equal to new student, right? So here student s is equal to new student. So here first is student object. Yes. So here student object a memory is created. For whom the memory is created? Only for the variables, not for the methods, right? If there are how many variables in my class, weight comma height are these two are the variables. For these variables the memory is created, right? So the memory is created for this variables, weight comma height. So now the point is so here memory is created for this variables for different objects. Suppose next here in the weight height. So the memory is created for these objects, weight comma height, right? Suppose if you are declaring a static variable, only one instance of this variable is created and shared by all the objects of that class, right? So now we can take this here. I will talk this reference after this class, but one point here, student s1 is equal to, so new student, the above statement, and dog as d1 is equal to new dog, you can take. So here I will again further divide into this statement into, right? So s1 is equal to student s1 is equal to new student. I am dividing this entire statement into two parts. So this s1 is said to be a reference, right? So this is s1 is said to be reference, right? So s1 is equal to new student. So whenever you are creating the keyword new, right? So whenever you are using the keyword new, the memory is allocated. By using the new keyword, the memory is allocated for the variables, your respective class. So right. So whenever you are using this new keyword, the memory, yes, the memory is allocated. Yes, the memory is allocated for the variables of your class. Variables of your class. Right. So what are the variables of my class here? Weight comma height. Right. So method, how much memory will be allocated means we can talk about the latter. So memory is allocated for this variables. Suppose depending on the data type, the memory is allocated for these variables. So my weight is a parameter which is integer 4 bytes, height 4 bytes. Right. So similarly for D2 object is a separate memory is allocated. If you are declaring it is the static, yes, the static variables are created only once and shared by all the objects of the same class. Right. So here one more point you need to remember here it is, suppose if you are using the keyword new, right? So the memory is allocated in the heap area. The memory is allocated in the heap area, right? So basically what is heap? Heap is a complete binary tree you studied in data structures now. So here that is, so heap area, the memory is allocated. Okay, next is a local variables. So here what is local variable? Yes, a variable which you are declaring within the method, then it is said to be method local variables. Method, yes, a variable which you declared a variable which you declared within the method body, body, then it is said to be method local variables. So these local variables are, yes, the memory is allocated for these local variables in the stack area, right? So the memory is allocated for this local variables in the stack area. So what is stack? You know, the stack is a data structure which is working on the principle of the last inserted element is first out. You know the stack data structures in C++ data structures, no? Right? Children, are you following?
Sir.
Yes. So this is, so stack is a data structure which is working on the leaf, last inserted element is in the first out principle, right? So now this is about variables. So what are the variables we are discussing? So we are talking about the primitive variables. So here in this case, next, sorry, ikkada combined miss ayanu. Student S1. What is this? S1 is said to be a reference, right? So next, whenever you are using this new keyword, right? So a bulk of memory is allocated. Yes, that is referenced by S1. That is referenced by S1. రైట్, ఇక్కడ చూడండి. సో ఫస్ట్ ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది, న్యూ స్టూడెంట్. ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది, న్యూ స్టూడెంట్, రైట్? సో దిస్ బల్క్, ఎస్, దిస్ మెమరీ is created, right? So this memory is referenced by some variable, some reference variable. Yes, reference variable can use to refer the objects. So here by using this new keyword you are creating object. That means you are allocating memory for your object. So this memory is pointed by or referenced by, this memory is referenced by a reference variable. Yes, however I will give more examples on this reference variable once we did these experiments, right? So now here the points. What are the points we need to concentrate here? So first one is instance variable. Instance variable or object. Instance or object is same. Instance variable or object variable. So for this instance variable or object, yes, object level variable are different for each and every object, right? So here static variables are the variables which are common for each and every object. The static variables are created only once and shared by all the objects of the same class. Static variables are created only once and shared by all the objects of the same class. I am talking about only variables, not methods. Please remember it. I am talking about only variables. So now we can do some experiments on these variables. Please tell what is its output. Right. So here class test. Children, are you able to see my edit plus? Class text int I is equal to 10. So what is this int I? What is this I? Which type of variable it is?
Instance variable.
Instance variable, right? So now in main method, simply first what I am doing here it is, right? So first what I am doing here it is, so first simply I am printing this instance variable. So in main method, simply I am printing this instant variable SOP statement I is equal to plus I. Is it executed?
No.
Huh? We will, is it executed or it will give any errors? int I is equal to 10 అన్నాను, SOP statement లో I print చేశాను. ఫైల్ సేవ్ చెప్పండి. ఎస్ ప్లీజ్. మేఘన, శివశంకర్, అమోఘ.
Non-static variables cannot be used inside static function.
Yes. So here you cannot execute this statement. Here it will give some error. So what is that error means? A non-static variable I. So non-static means instance variable. Non-static means instance variable. So I cannot be referenced from the static context. ఈ ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది, చూద్దాం ఒకసారి మనకి. సో ఏమైనా టెస్ట్ అని సేవ్ చేస్తాం, జావా సి text.java. Right. So here, which type of error we are getting? Non-static variable I cannot be referenced from the static context. ఏంటి, స్టాటిక్ ఏరియా నుండి నాన్ స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్ డైరెక్ట్ కాల్ చేయలేరు. ఎలా కాల్ చేయొచ్చు? సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ మేకింగ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ ద స్టాటిక్, డైరెక్ట్లీ యూ కెన్ కాల్ ఇట్. ఎస్, దీన్ని స్టాటిక్ అని చేశారనుకోండి, స్టాటిక్ ఏరియా నుండి స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్ కాల్ చేస్తున్నారు డైరెక్ట్ గా. ఎస్, దేర్ ఇస్ ఎ ప్రొవిజన్, రైట్? స్టాటిక్ ఇంట్ స్టాటిక్ కాదు, స్టాటిక్ ఇంట్ అని రాయాలి. static int. Yes. Yes. So here the order is important. Static int, not int static. So Java C text.java. So Java space text. So we are getting that means from static context you can directly call the static variable, right? So you directly call the static variable. Suppose if it is a non-static variable, non-static means instance variable, object level variable. So how can you call? Yes, you need to instantiate your class by using that instance. You can invoke, right? So what you can do here, just you need to create object of that class. Yes, so you need to create a object of that class. By using that object you can invoke that method, right? So now what I am doing here it is, so here simply by using this object, right? So here text ot is a instance of your text class ot.I. Yes, from the static context I am calling this non-static or instance variable by using the particular object ot.I. So now it is working. Yes, so now it can work, right? So next run this program. Yes, it is working. 10 is printed. So here after this 10 is printed, so next here from this static context I am calling a non-static method, right? So method 1, so this method 1 is a non-static method. This is instance method, right? So here how can you invoke this instance method? By using the object, by using the instance ot.method1. By using the instance I am invoking this method 1, right? So then what is I value? Here it is. So next in method 1 directly, method 1 is a not static method. From this method 1 I am directly invoking this variable I, right? So now you can save this. So what you are doing, so your program execution starts from main method. You are creating object for this text class. By using this object you are invoking this variable, instance variable. Similarly, by using this object you are invoking this instance method. From this instance method, non-static method, from this non-static method directly you are calling this instance variable. ఇక్కడ చూడండి method 1 నుండి without creating object I am directly calling this one, right? So this is the point you need to observe. Here it is Java C text.java. Next run. So here, so what we are doing first, we are getting 10. So first I am printing ot.I. This will be printed. So next method 1 is invoked. Next the control comes to here. Here what I am doing, again I am printing this I value still, right? So this is the simple example how can we invoke from the static context to a non-static context. Is it clear children? Any doubts? Program lo em doubt unda? Yes, yes, please children, please speak out. Children, are you there?
No doubt, sir.
No doubts. Megan, for real, good. So next program is, so now we need to take one more program. So static demo. So now I am taking class static demo. I am taking some static variable p which is initialized to 1000, right? So now here next I am directly invoking this I, right? So now I am directly invoking this static variable. Directly I am invoking this static variable. Is it works, children? Yes. So what I did here, I created some static variable p. The value of the static variable is 1000, directly initializing. So in main method, so what I am doing, I am directly calling this static variable. Is it working or it will give any error? Yes, please speak out, children. So previous to, yes, so static variable, yes, from the static context you can directly invoke the static variable, ఇక్కడ చూడండి స్టాటిక్ ఏరియా నుండి స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్ ని డైరెక్ట్ ఇన్వోక్ చేయొచ్చు వితౌట్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఎ క్లాస్, రైట్? Without creating object of a class, then you can directly invoke this, similar to our previous example, right? So static demo, so compile it. So Java C static demo.java compilation. Here system.out.println, where what is I? So I'm printing p. P is the variable, so you need to print this p variable. So I'm using this p variable, p is equal to plus p. Yes. So you are declaring some static variable. From the static context, you are invoking that static variable directly. Yes. So Java static demo. So directly you are invoking from the static context to static variable, right? So now, suppose if I am taking some static variable string type, static string, yes, static string, yes. So is it possible to directly call this s variable here? Yes. What is the default value of this static variables here? By default it will take the default values. What is the default value of the string? Null. Null is the default value of the string, right? So here you are not giving any value for the string variable, right? So now directly you are calling this string variable. Previously we call integer variable, now we are calling string variable. That is only theta, right? So previously we called integer, now we are calling this string variable, right? So directly, so what is s value? S value is null, right? So you are creating a string, but you are not initializing that string. If you are not initializing, then by default it will take the default values. So what is the default values for this instance variable string? String means null. Null is the default value for instance variable string. Children, is it clear? Children, are you there? Yes,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Yes, clear. Okay. So next is here I'm creating some variable I which is initialized to 10, which is integer type. So next, so I'm creating object for this class static demo. What is equal to new static demo. So by using this object, so what I am doing, I'm invoking this variable I, right? So after that one, I'm invoking this ot.method one. So where is this method one is there? Here void method one. So this is similar to our previous example, right? So from the static context directly by using the object of this by using the object of this class, you can invoke this instance variable. I is instance variable. You can directly invoke from this static context. You are invoking. You are calling this method one, a non-static method. From here, you are directly calling this variable I. So this is previously explained. All right, the previous same it is. So next, what is P? Is static area. So directly, if you are declaring the variable static into P, so next what I am doing, directly I am invoking this P variable. So now, so this is about a static variable. We are talking about a static P. Yes. So static into P is equal to 1000. So how can we access the static variables, right? So how can we access the static variable? That is the point. How can we access? How can we access a static variable? Right. So here there are three ways you can access the static variable. Directly you can call the static variable from the non-static context directly by using the static variable name. By using static variable name, next class name, yes, within the class only. Directly you can call a static variable name within the class. Else class name dot variable name. Next one is, so here object name dot a variable name. So these three methods are working, right? So how can we invoke the static variable? Yes, you are declaring the static int p is equal to 1000. So directly you can call this static variable. Else by using the class name. What is your class name? Static demo, right? Else by using the object of a class, right? So where you are creating object here, this is. So by using the object of this class, so static vote is the object of this static demo class. By using object also you can invoke the static variables. So these are the three different ways where we can call this static variables. First one is by using the static variable name. So second one is class name dot variable name. Third one is object dot variable name. In these three ways you can invoke your static variable. Invoke means call cheyadam, calling. Right. So now చూద్దాం whether it is working or not. CLS clear screen. So we opened something, we are not closed at it, I think. So where we here it is missing. Let's save it. Next compile. Once you save it, compile it, then run it. Right. So here directly you can call the static variable by using a variable name or by class name dot variable name or object dot variable. These are the three ways where you can invoke your static variables. Done. Suppose what is P? Static variable. So this is how we can access a static variable from the non-static context, right? So directly, suppose ikkada question entante here the first one is, here I am calling this static variable directly. Suppose the static variable outside of the class, వేరే class లో ఉంది అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు directly you need to use the class name dot variable name, dot variable name. Within the class you can directly call by using the static variable name. Outside of the class you can, so outside of the class you can use class name dot right. So next is by using object dot this variable also you can call the static variables. Children, any doubts in this up to? Yes please. Who is here? 121. మాట్లాడండి, ఏదో ఒకటి మాట్లాడి తెలుస్తుంది కదా. Yes please. Yes please tell me. ఎవరు మాట్లాడండి. సౌమ్య క్లియరా? ఫరియల్, మేఘన clear. Okay, thank you. Mic is not working. Chandra Kiran Reddy. Okay, right. So now the point is where we are, here we are, this diagram is important. Primitive reference చెప్తాను, తర్వాత చెప్తాను, మనకు అర్థమైంది. ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్, స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్, లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్, రైట్. సో నెక్స్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, text 3 file open, text 3. నేను జావా ఫైల్ క్లాస్ ఫైల్ ఓపెన్ చేశాను, జావా ఫైల్ ఓపెన్ చేయాలి. text 3, this is Java file. So here you observe this program, class text int I is equal to 10. This is instance variable, public static void main string args. So now text what is equal to ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ నాన్ స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్, ఐ కెనాట్ బి రిఫరెన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ద స్టాటిక్ కాంటెక్స్ట్. ఇలా కాల్ చేస్తే ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది, ఇది అవసరం లేదు మనకి. సో టెక్స్ట్ ఓటీ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు న్యూ టెక్స్ట్ అన్నాము. సో ఓటీ డాట్ ఐ, So what is the output of here? Can you tell, children? What is the output of here? Anyone can tell, please. Cheppandi, please. What is the output here?
10.
10. Good. Right. So next here OT dot method 1. ఇక్కడికి వస్తుంది control. Method 1 లో this output statement ఉంది. So what is the output of here? Text 3 రాలేదు. What is the output of this? 10. Okay. This is similar to our last program. So file, open, text 3 Java 5. Text 3 Java 5. So next int x is equal to 10, static int y is equal to 20 rasanu, right? So in main method I am creating object o1. O1 is the object for text 3 class, right? So o1 underscore t3, right? So o1 underscore t3 object for text 3 class. So next by using this object I am changing this x value is 888. Next I am changing this y value is 999. Right? So next I am creating second object, right? So what is my second object? O2 underscore t3 for text 3 class. Here I am printing O2 this by using the second object. I am printing this x comma y values, right? So what is the output of here? What is the output of here? Can you guess, children? The output ఏమో తెలుసా?
10 and 20 no sir.
10 and 999 వస్తుంది. చెప్తా ఇది ఎట్లా వస్తుంది చూద్దాం. సో ఫస్ట్ ఇక్కడ మన అవుట్పుట్ ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా. సో ఫస్ట్ ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఏంటి, మనం పెయింట్ తీసుకుందాం. పెయింట్ ఫైల్, సో న్యూ, డోంట్ సేవ్. ఇక్కడ చూడండి మీ క్లాస్ లో హౌ మెనీ వేరియబుల్స్, ఎక్స్ వేరియబుల్ ఉంది. ఇది ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ ద ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్, అంటే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లెవెల్ వేరియబుల్. అంతేనా? ఎన్ని ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి? O1 T3 ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్, 2 ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. దిస్ ఈస్ ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, దిస్ ఈస్ సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, రైట్? సో ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, దిస్ ఈస్ సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, రైట్? సో ఇక్కడ ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి? ఒకటి ఉంది, ఎక్స్ అనేది 10 ఉంది. ఎక్స్ ఈస్ ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్, ద వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వేరియబుల్ ఇస్ 10. The value of this variable is 10. ఇది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ 1 కి. అలాగే దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ 2 కూడా ఇలా ఉంటుంది, x 10 ఉంటుంది, రైట్? 10 చూడండి ఇక్కడ x ఉంటుంది. సో ఇక్కడ నేను రెండింటికి సేమ్ వాల్యూ ఫస్ట్ ఇచ్చాను కాబట్టి ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ కాగానే 10 ఉంటుంది ఇక్కడ బై డిఫాల్ట్ గా. నేను డిఫరెంట్ తీసుకోవాలి, సేమ్ తీసుకున్నాను. x లో 10 ఉంటుంది, y లో ఇక్కడ ది సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఆల్సో x, ఇట్ హాస్ 10. సో నెక్స్ట్ స్టాటిక్ ఇంట్ y is equal to 20. సో y అనే వేరియబుల్, yes there is a variable y, so which has the value 20, which has the value 20. So this 20 is common for these two, right? So this memory location ఎవరు, ఈ రెండు ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా రిఫర్ చేస్తున్నాయి. These two objects are referring this y memory locations, right? So 20. సో నెక్స్ట్ ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ఇక్కడ చూడండి O1 డాట్ ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డాట్ x is equal to 888. ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ x లో 888 రాశారు ఇక్కడ, 888 you are written. సో నెక్స్ట్ హియర్ O1 T3 డాట్ y, O1 T3 డాట్ y అంటే ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ y వేరియబుల్, దిస్ ఇస్ ద కామన్ వేరియబుల్. నా హియర్ you are written some 999, here you are written 999. సో నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేశారు, బై డిఫాల్ట్ x 10 ఉంటుంది. సో నెక్స్ట్ ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే, సో సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ x వాల్యూ ప్రింట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ x వాల్యూ ఎంత ఉంది? 10 ఉంది. సో దట్ విల్ బి ప్రింటెడ్, రైట్? సో సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ x వాల్యూ 10 విల్ బి దేర్, దట్ విల్ బి ప్రింటెడ్. సో సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ y వాల్యూ, సో సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ y దేని రిఫర్ చేస్తుంది ఇక్కడ? సెకండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ y ఈజ్ రిఫరింగ్ దిస్ మెమరీ లొకేషన్, is referring this memory location. So what is the value in this memory location? What is the value in this memory location? 999, that will be printed. Adhamayinda children? Yes,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Yes, thank you. So this is next program. So next is one more program we have, text 3, static demo, static doc, text 3, text file open. Text 3, this main program. So now so here up to now what we are completed this this primitive variable, local primitive with the local variable, instance variable and static variable. So now we will talk about the reference variables, right? So reference variable, right? Within 10 minutes I will wind up. So this is the reference variable. So basically, once the object is created, that object memory is pointed out by this reference variable. Yes, that object memory is pointed out by this reference variable. So the example here it is. So the example, you can see the diagram like here. This one. Suppose if you are creating the new keyword, so the memory is allocated for this object by using new keyword. So this is pointed by the references, right? References. So now we will look into this program. So here class demo. This is one class. So next is there is one more class like main. So in this main class we have defined this main method, right? So we have created this 3 object, demo d1 is equal to new demo. So d1 is the object for this demo class. So next what I am doing, so directly I am trying to print this reference, right? Directly I am printing this reference, right? So once you print this reference directly, right? So once you print the reference directly, so what is the value we can expect there? Anyone can tell please. నేను ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేశాను. సో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కాదు, రిఫరెన్స్ ప్రింట్ చేస్తున్నాను. So what is the value we can expect here? What is the output we can expect here? Java C main.java. Java main. So here, what is the output? So demo, yes. So here demo, this is the D1. If you are directly printing, so the reference value can be printed. So this D1 is reference for which class? Demo class. This D1 is a reference for this demo class. What is this D1? D1 is a reference, a link, reference, a link, like a link or a U shape, konki kondila undachunu konki patkodanki, right? So now, so demo D1 is equal to new demo. System.out.println D1. So what is D1? So D1 is a reference for demo class at the rate this demo class. So what is this code? 42719C hash code of this memory location, right? A reference yokka memory location is, right? So 42719. So this is the memory location of this reference variable. So this D1 is a reference variable for demo class with this hash code. Children, are you getting the point? So D1 is a reference variable for demo class with this hash code, right? So by using hash code directly, you cannot access the memory location, right? So me directly memory location access చేయలేదు, hash code ఉంటుంది, అది మెమరీలో ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందో తెలియదు మీకు, అందువల్ల సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద సెక్యూర్ పాయింటర్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లేదు ఇక్కడ. సో దెర్ ఇస్ నో పాయింటర్ కాన్సెప్ట్. సో వేర్ ఇస్ వి డైరెక్ట్లీ డోంట్ నో వేర్ ఇస్ దిస్ ద మెమరీ లొకేషన్స్. ఇది మెమరీలో ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ అయిందో మనకు తెలియదు. ఇట్స్ ఈక్వలెంట్ హ్యాష్ కోడ్ ఉంటుంది. హ్యాష్ కోడ్, హ్యాష్ ఫంక్షన్స్, యూ నో దట్ లీనియర్ hashing, quadratic hashing, right? So hash code is generated for this one, right? So next ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ చూడండి. సో బై యూజింగ్ దిస్, రైట్, ఎప్పుడైతే న్యూ కీవర్డ్ వస్తుందో అది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అవుతుంది. వితౌట్ న్యూ కీవర్డ్ దెన్ ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్స్ టు రిఫరెన్స్, రైట్? సో నెక్స్ట్ బై యూజింగ్ దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డిస్ప్లే, ఐ మీన్ ఇన్వోకింగ్ దిస్ డిస్ప్లే మెథడ్. సో వాట్ ఇస్ దిస్ డిస్ప్లే మెథడ్? ఇట్ విల్ ప్రింటింగ్ ద వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ దిస్ x. వాట్ ఈస్ x? x is integer variable 10. సో 10 డైరెక్ట్లీ యాక్సెస్ చేస్తున్నాం ఇక్కడ, రైట్? సో ఇది నాన్ స్టాటిక్ ఏరియా నుండి నాన్ స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్ ని కాల్ చేసాం, ప్రాబ్లం ఏం లేదు. సో ఎట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వన్, ఆఫ్టర్ ప్రింటింగ్ దిస్ వాల్యూ 10, సో నౌ దిస్ ఫంక్షన్ విల్ రిటర్న్ 0. ఈ ఫంక్షన్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, 0 అని రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది. వాట్ ఈస్ ద రిటర్న్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఫంక్షన్? int. The return type of this function is int. So this 0 value will be displayed here. So the return value 0 in place of this one, that will be displayed. So now once you run this program, first demo at the rate hash code, next this 10 value will be printed. After that one, the 0 value will be written, that value will be printed here. So how many outputs we are expecting? Yes, there are 3 outputs. Yes, there are 3 outputs. Java C main.java. So Java main. So demo, this is demo is a reference for demo class. D1 is the reference for demo class at this particular. ఇంత ముందు వేరే hash code వచ్చింది, ఇప్పుడు వేరే hash code వచ్చింది చూడండి ఇక్కడ, right? So x value is 10. So what is its return? The function returns a 0 value, that will be returned, right? So here these are the 3 different values. So now it's equivalent to theory part. You can see here it is. Right. So reference variable in Java. So what is reference variable? So here, right? So whenever D1, so this reference variable, when new keyword you use cheste emani cheppanu, memory heap memory. Yes, whenever you are using the new keyword, the memory is allocated for your objects in the heap memory. Heap memory lo objects create avutundi, memory allocate avutundi. Yes, the memory is allocated in the heap area. Whenever you are creating object, a space is created in heap. New keyword, simple banda gurtu, new ane keyword vaste heap lo memory allocate avutundi, right? So then the question is how to access these memory locations. Once the memory is allocated in the heap, right? So the space is in the memory is created, but the question how to access that space, right? So here in that case, then we create, right? So once the memory is created in the reference area, then how can we access that, right? So here simply nothing is there. We create a pointing element, or simply called a reference variable. Then we create a pointing element. There is no pointers concept, or you can simply call it is a reference variable which simply points out that object. So this D1 is a reference variable which directly point out this object. Where this memory is created? Yes, you are using this new keyword. Once you are using this new keyword, the memory is allocated in the heap area. Yes, so D1 is a reference variable which is refer the object of demo class, right? So now how can we access? The reference variable is used to find the object values, right? So the class or interface, array or enumeration and indentations are reference types in Java. So the reference may be any one of this type. Reference variable hold the values of reference type in the Java. Suppose if you are not giving any value, by default it will take the null value. By default this reference variable will take the null value if you are not assigning anything, right? So by default, if no object is passed to reference variable, then it will take null value. So how can we invoke this reference variable? Means by using this dot operator, dot syntax. Reference variable dot instance variable name or method name, you can call it. Instance variable name or method name, right? So the example is this one. I told them previously, this one. So in that above example, suppose here I am creating this reference variable, but I am not assigning any object, right? So what this D1 will point out to? So this D1 is pointing to null. This D1 is pointing to null, right? So Java C errors will be there. In point 2, system D1 system.out.println. So D1 I'm creating object for this demo class. Next, directly I'm printing D1 value, right? If you are directly printing this D1, so the reference is not assigned, then null will be D1 variable D1 might not have been initialized, right? So by default, yes. So by default we need to give it is the null. Demo D1 is equal to null. Yes. Actually it need to come. Why it is not coming in? They will think it. Java null, right? So here in this point, the fourth point. Shall we stop, children? I think you have next class. Yes, reference variable can also be can store null value by default. If no object is passed to a reference variable, then it will store in